Friends, by the time you are watching this, I'll be sound asleep in London. It's awesome. Thank you guys for support for us to be able to go and connect with our brothers and sisters all over the world. This has been a great month. I don't really have time to go into all the wonderful things that have happened, but things are going good in Vandalia and in Kalamazoo. People are just making breakthroughs and taking new territory, moving up to the next level, and I'm very excited about it. Bless you guys. I can't wait to be back with you all. Bye.
We'll change spots.
You didn't turn it off?
No, I didn't. Why? Okay, it's still recording?
It is still recording.
All right. I'm Cameron. I'm glad you're here today. Glad you made it to the meeting. Glad I'm hopefully in London and sleeping in a hotel. And like Kathy said, we're really happy that we can go and represent New Day Community Church at the Partners in Harvest event, as well as at New Day London, and help the nuns launch that new baby church. One thing I did want to share with the leadership team, and we talked about this with the leaders down in Vandalia just a few days ago, is something I feel God's given us, or given me, to try to implement in all of our churches. And it actually came to mind as I was praying about Vine and considering how to launch that new church in that neighborhood. And I felt the Lord say, explain everything every time. Explain everything every time. And in the context that the thought came when I was praying about the new people in the Vine walking in and having no context to understand why we worship, why we read Bible verses, why we preach a lesson, why do we do everything we do? And this idea of explain everything every time came to mind. I felt it was anointed, I felt it was from the Lord, and I felt it was for all of our churches. Rick Warren, if you don't know who he is, he leads Saddleback Church, one of the largest churches in the nation, one of the most influential leaders in the 20th century, actually, and continues to be. But he says that the more simple he preaches, the greater the impact. And he's not a charismatic, but just recently he was interviewed concerning charismatic church in America, and he actually said that the charismatic church should not change anything that they do. They just need to explain it. They just need to explain what they do. And I think that that's very, very wise input from someone that God has chosen to specialize in reaching lost people. He's an expert at it. And so explain everything every time. And so I don't want to just have a rule, but I want to build this into the culture that we learn how to introduce even the opening prayer. Like, we're gathered here. This is church. Welcome to church. And so we're just going to talk to God and invite Him because we want God to show up. And then you pray a short prayer, or when you're beginning a worship song, we sing because we believe that God is worthy of expressing how we feel about Him, what we think about Him. And so these songs just are songs about who God is and why we love Him. And boom. And so it doesn't have to be long. In fact, it has to be short. And if we get into the habit of doing it every time, it'll be well-rounded. It won't be the same thing every time, but it'll be nuanced based on the person speaking, the MC, the worship leader, the speaker, whoever. And for those of us who are there every week, it'll be fine because they've heard it before and they'll tune out if necessary, just like they do for the announcements. That's a joke. So explain everything every time. I've talked with Mark about this, and he can talk about it some more. And I think you guys are going to have some discussion about, well, how can we implement explain everything every time? And so that's a challenge I'm presenting to you as leaders, is let's figure this out, because I believe God's going to bring in new people, and they're going to need to be taught the basics. And we're looking forward to that. Kathy just laughed. I don't know why. What's so funny?
Just reliving our segue from you to me.
Okay. So hopefully we won't have the same turnaround. God bless you. We're off to London. This was recorded in the Kalamazoo airport because we forgot to do it earlier. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.